All right. Welcome back, bud, to
Thanks.
Miami.
Thanks, Gabriel.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. How many years have you been coming to the Miami Art Week experience, would you say now?
I've been almost every year since 2006, so I think, this is probably at least my 15th.
Yeah. And pretty much every year, would you say you were painting walls and doing shows at various venues at the same time?
Yeah, it's always I'm trying to cram in as much as possible. The mural painting is really important to me just because that's kind of the foundation of my work. My philosophy is bring art to the people, don't make the people go to the art. Of course, I love showing in traditional galleries and making paintings on canvas or wood or paper, but the street art stuff to me is it's just really important philosophically, so I'm never gonna give that up.
And what are you doing this year as far as in terms of walls outside of the shows?
So I painted a small wall at a place called Factory Town over in Little Haiti that's a music venue. I guess they do a lot of EDM and other concerts, but known gallery from LA, my friend Casey, who founded the graffiti crew MSK and is good friends with a lot of people from street art and graffiti. He's sort of the art advisor, and he's going to set up a known gallery in there, but he's curating walls, so people like Revoke and Risk are doing walls. I did a small wall, a bunch of other Miami people from Brazil, all over. It's a very big scene, but when it comes to the most talented people, it's actually not that huge a pool. So we all end up seeing each other wherever street art things happen in the world.
Would you say Miami is sort of like a reunion for a lot of that almost yearly?
Yeah, especially during the building up of Wynwood, I always felt like if I went there would be so much energy, so much talent. It's now oversaturated there. There aren't many free walls, so I think that Miami, of course, is always going to have a lot of energy in that way because it's become such a hub. Wynwood is like an outdoor street art museum, graffiti museum, but if you want to have space for the younger, raw talent to get opportunities, it's not going to be there. So that's why it's cool that places like Overtown and Little Haiti are starting to see opportunities for other people. And I want art to be as democratic as possible. So like anything, when you have a neighborhood and it's being sort of established as a creative hub and it's got all that critical mass that's building, that's exciting. But then when it's become gentrified and the opportunities are less and it's more expensive, it's time for the people with that same pioneering spirit to move to a new spot.
Yeah.
What's it like being the busiest man at Miami Art Week? Is that true? Is that true?
I don't know if I'm the busiest. I mean, I have several things going on this time, but there's a lot of hustle from a lot of people, and I'm always inspired to see what people are doing, and it keeps me motivated. I think because I found out from my dad being somewhat of a cold and realistic doctor, when I found out I was diabetic at 16, he told me the good news is you can live because they have injectable insulin now. The bad news is you'll probably live 20 years less than most people. So I have felt since I was 16 years old that there was no time to waste because I might have less of it than other people have.
That's powerful, man.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And but it's good. I think sometimes the downside is that I don't take the time to enjoy the process and enjoy the successes because there's always the next thing looming.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm always really excited that I have a lot going, and I try to make things I'm proud of and don't squander the opportunities.
What are you excited for this year to be able to sort of see or participate in? Like, what are you looking forward to?
Well, of course, I'm really excited that have all this work here with you at Scope, and that we have the phone booth out there. The phone booth is an older piece, but I always thought it was missing a component that really brought it to its full potential, full power. And so adding the recording and the QR code that takes people to the mini site and the the postcards, all of that, especially with what's going on now politically and the concept of the phone booth, is super exciting for me to have here, where people can interact with it, and it's something that's got a sense of humor, but also a very serious message in the midst of a lot of eye candy and things that are often somewhat decorative or escapist.
Totally.
So I'm really happy to have that component here.
So you now have, your art has been an impact and involved in 2 different White House administrations of 2 completely different identities. What are your feelings and your thoughts on your art's involvement with the American political discourse at that level by this point?
A nice lighthearted
That's a very
question for
specific. You're the only human I can think of that actually has that experience.
That's true.
So I think you have a very unique. You're obviously very unique as you are, but even that itself is really powerful in terms of, I think, speaking as an artist that is not just street art, but I feel like you're a prime Americana at this point as well. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, to me, artists are sort of the people with their moral antenna tuned, and they need to be first responders to things going in the wrong direction. It doesn't always pan out that way or play out that way because some artists are afraid of how they could alienate some of their collector base. But I feel like this all the time, but especially in a moment right now when people are afraid to speak out because they're afraid they'll be punished. We see these attacks on free speech and expression. So for me right now, I need to use my voice, and I need to try to encourage other people to do it. Last weekend was the Organic Fall of Freedom weekend, where Robert Longo and Dred Scott basically reached out to a lot of other artists and performers and musicians and filmmakers and said, anything that you create that you can tag with this fall of freedom to make sure that people understand what's at stake for not just creatives but all of society right now, use your voice. And so I was really happy to be part of that and to see that existed, because sometimes I feel like I'm involved in a lot of activist stuff, but it's the same people. It's Jane Fonda and Tom Morello and Moby and like 4 other people, and we show up for everything, but we need it to be a bigger tent, a bigger crowd. And so artists out there, don't be afraid. If you're bummed by a lot of things that are happening, find some way within your creative output to address it, and don't be afraid.
And many hands make light work, right? It's like we all do this together and it make a serious impact.
Yeah, exactly. I've always felt that it's tragic that we have to have martyrs who make the sacrifices that people say, oh my God, look what they did for the world, because they wouldn't have to do that if more of us joined in.
Facts.
Yeah.
And I think the concept of artists as first responders is really cool. That's like a really fun concept. Artists as first responders.
Yeah, and I think that it's, it's been shown to be true at many times in history. I mean, when Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young wrote Ohio, like a week after the Kent State shootings, all sorts of stuff that Dylan did, stuff that Rage Against the Machine has done, Bob Marley, Public Enemy, you name it. But we need more of it from visual artists. I love the way that Banksy responds to things going on in the news cycle. I love, what Swoon does. There's lots of artists that I think use their voices, but with so much talent out there and a way to engage people both emotionally and intellectually through art, if we're not using that tool to its ultimate potential, it's such a squandered opportunity.
Yeah, totally. Well, buddy, gotta say, hell of a year. We started out with the Super Bowl. Here we are again in Miami. Yeah, I've had a lot of fun with you this year, and I'm really grateful that we're showing you here, and looking forward to, I'm sure we're going to have a really, really great week. Obviously, we sold the phone booth, which is super cool.
Yeah, amazing.
But yeah, just thank you for taking the time. And Vanna misses you, so as soon as you guys can get back to New Orleans, she's grown a bit, but I'm sure she hasn't forgotten. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I love the dogs, man. Dogs are like the best therapy in the world. So
Agreed.
dogs and art, more of that.
Hell yeah.
Dogs and art and this podcast. Thank y'all for watching 2 Drink Minimum. That's Shepard Fairey. Y'all know Gabe. Y'all know Chris. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Please like and subscribe, all that good stuff. If this is your first episode watching us, share it with a friend. Tell a friend. We're here at Scope all week doing a new episode. Shepard, thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me here. Cheers.